Hi, good
Ready.
morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today. We are on a new attempt today to run this as a panel discussion for GBX and on a pretty hot topic that we planned to have that a while ago, and finally it happens in today. It is about the generative AI for education, workplace, better living, and how to nurture the future. We'll have 3 sections today. The first section will be an introduction from each of our panel speakers about their background, their area of interest, what tools they are using, and some of their insights. So we will have the first panel member, Svetlana, a language educator, a researcher, a parent, and a pioneer to explore generative AI for youth education. So without further ado, I will pass the mic to Svetlana, and I will stop my presentation slide now.
Thank you, Annie.
Yeah.
So let me just share my slides with you quickly. Can you all see my slides? Okay, well, I would like to start by saying thank you to Winston and Annie for organizing this panel, but also for inviting me to join this panel as one of the speakers. I look forward to discussing this with all of you here, but also with Savio. Good to see you, Savio, once again, and with Eve, one of my colleagues here at DI. So the title we were given was AI Revolutionizing Education, Workplace, and Living. I think I'll be focusing on education a bit more than workplace and living, but perhaps I'll be able to share a few ideas about the other areas as well. So my plan is to quickly talk about myself, just to let you know where I'm coming from and why I'm doing what I'm doing. Also share my experience organizing generative AI workshops here at DI, as well as perhaps share some of my questions, the questions that kind of bother me at this point, and possible implications. So to begin with, some of you probably already know I'm Russian. I come from a tiny village in the middle of Russia, which usually gets snowed under in the middle of winter. This is literally the entrance into our village. In late 90s, I was lucky to be selected as an exchange student to go to the US on a Freedom Support Act scholarship. And I was sent to Truman State University, a tiny Midwestern university in Missouri, where I completed my bachelor's in English and linguistics. Then I went on to Iowa State University, a fantastic place where I met a lot of people from Hong Kong, by the way, and where I completed my master's in applied linguistics and English language teaching. After that, I was really lucky to come to PolyU as a PhD student, where I completed my PhD again in applied linguistics and teaching English to speakers of other languages. I worked for a long time at PolyU. In fact, about 20 years, I think, in total I spent with PolyU, or around between 15 and 20 years. After that, about 2 years ago, I joined the I, and that's the background you see behind me. The I stands for Technological and Higher Education Institute of Hong Kong, which is a member of VTC. So we aim to equip our students with bachelor's degrees in various profession-focused areas. Now, my role here at the I is in the area of English language curriculum management. So I'm the leader of the English team here. All the students here have to take 3 core English modules. So really compulsory English modules, similar to other institutions in Hong Kong, including Hong Kong U, for example, as well as PolyU. And these modules are really quite traditional. They all focus on primarily writing and speaking. In terms of writing, we'll look at writing essays, reports, emails, you know, the traditional types of writing. In terms of speaking, it's presentation skills, discussion skills, etc., etc. I'm also in charge of the Center for Learning Enhancement here at DI. And our aim is to offer students extracurricular support. And you can see we cover quite a lot of areas here. This is just one of our posters for April. So this is my background, and within this background, this is the journey I've been on with generative AI tools. So in December 2022, a few days after ChatGPT was released, I had a chance to try it. And I got a bit worried because it was doing exactly the things that we wanted our students to do. It was generating essays within seconds. Those essays were pretty good. So I got a bit worried when my teachers, perhaps like we can mute Frank. Yes. When my teachers came back from the Christmas break back to campus, I asked every single one of them whether they had tried ChatGPT, and their answer was no. They were, some of them, most of them actually, had not even heard about it. So for me, that was a bit worrying, because I felt that writing teachers, language teachers like us, we should be aware of tools like this, because there is a real chance these tools will take our jobs or will redefine our jobs. So in January, in the middle of January, I organized a workshop for my team, and other teachers of the eye attended that as well. We explored a few tools together. I'll show you later. And starting February, I started also running workshops for students, introducing different AI tools. And so there are 3 workshops planned up until now. There will be 1 more in May. And in June, we have a huge symposium about AI in education and the workplace. So basically, so far, this has been my basic journey with generative AI. Now, my approach to these workshops is quite standard. Across these workshops, I try to convey the idea that tools are important, but what's more important is what we do with them. So more specifically, I call it AI literacy. So AI literacy for me stands for this ability to use and explore different generative AI tools to kind of accomplish our own goals. But at the same time, and I think really much more importantly, it's a critical understanding of what these tools can offer us in terms of affordances and constraints, capabilities and limitations. On top of that, I also feel both teachers and students need to know how to outsource our tasks. So be conscious about outsourcing our work to these AI tools. And at the same time, being able to understand or envision its impact on our human agency, on what we can do as humans, how we can learn and grow and develop and feel and live. So it's overall, it's continued reflection on all these impacts that we may be going through. So this is my aim throughout the workshops that I run here at DI. Once again, the tools are quite important, but actually what we do and how we think about them, for me as an educator, is even more important. And I call that AI literacy, a term which is used by quite a few people. I didn't come up with that term. That term has been used for some time now. So some of the tools that we've played with together with students and teachers are ChatGPT, obviously, u.com, elicit.org, tome.app, and 11 Labs. I'm going to quickly go through each one of them so that you can take a look and maybe see what it looks like for yourselves. And perhaps I can share some of them through the chat. I'm not sure I can see the chat, though. Do we have a chat,
Yes,
Annie?
at the bottom, at the bottom.
At the bottom. Oh,
Yes.
doesn't show me for some reason. But anyway, you may know that in Hong Kong for quite some time, we were not able to access ChatGPT directly. So we had to go through various indirect ways. But right now, it's actually quite easy to access through po.com. So if you happen to be in Hong Kong, you probably already know this. So through ChatGPT, what we did with teachers is we looked at different essays, assignments, we just cut and pasted them, and we observed how essays were generated, and then we discussed the implications for us. So that was one of the tools. I'm not going to run this because I know Savio is going to talk in depth about this anyway. So the other one that I introduced to my students and staff here is called u.com. And perhaps I can go to u.com with you here. Can you see u.com with me?
Yep.
Right, so I'm projecting my whole kind of browser. So u.com is basically a multifunctional kind of website. You can do a lot of things. Ultimately, it's a search engine, which is AI powered. So you can do chatting with u.com. You can chat on different areas. You can ask it to generate different things as well. There's an option to use, for example, uWrite as well, but uWrite is not free anymore. So as you know, pricing plans change as we speak for all these tools. Used to be free, but no longer free. You can also generate images using prompts through let me take this away, through Imagine. So the images are not bad, and nowadays they use quite a few tools for image generation. So Stable Diffusion, as well as Open Journey and Anime. So quite a few things. When I used this with my students, I was quite interested to see what their feedback would be. And interestingly, again, they commented on quite a few things, including social or emotional impact of the chat on their feelings. So that was quite revealing for me. Let me drop this link in the chat. I see the chat now. Okay, so u.com was quite interesting in that sense. Then we also looked at tome.app. In fact, I'm using tome.app right now. So if you don't mind, I would like to share my my reference link with you, because referral link, because when you're using tome.com, you get more points for sharing it with your friends. So that's their pricing model. But of course, there are paid for models as well. So if you want to use try Tome, please use the link that I shared in the chat right now. So basically, tome.com looks like this. You can quickly create any presentation, any story on any topic. For example, let me choose just a very general topic on Russian literature, just very generic. Of course, you can typos, but you can use typos. That's the power of AI tools. They understand typos. So once you click the topic, it actually starts generating different slides right away, as you can see here. Now, these slides are really text heavy, and students notice that right away, and they point out as one of the limitations. In addition to text, you will see also images being generated. And sometimes these images are quite great, quite fun to look at. Other times they're really ugly and really not great. So there's a lot students point out here in terms of advantages and limitations. But even with images, you can further revise the image. They use DALL-E for their image generation. So if you look at the distribution of slides, you'll see that they follow the very generic structure: intro, outline, content slide, some kind of conclusion. So very generic, and you can move things around if you wanted. So a few things that one could do. So students kind of enjoyed this one, but they also point out that there are a lot of limitations here, especially if they're from design fields, because they feel they could do much better, and they're not ready to give agency to the tool like this yet, quite yet. Then I also introduce a research tool called Elicit. Let me also quickly look at Elicit with you. Elicit is a research and reading tool. Let me also drop the link in the chat. Okay, so elicit.org can help us read. for example, last question I asked it yesterday was on academic vocabulary learning. So once I click on it, I will be given quite a few articles. I want access to PDF because our library doesn't often have access to full text. And then I can see a lot of, quite a number of text here. I can sort them, filter them, export them, but also I can I can request further information about each one of them, for example, number of participants, etc. And once I click on a text, I will also be given some kind of evaluation. So, for example, can I trust this paper? And then it will give me some information about elements that students may need to pay attention to. So this is yet another tool that I introduced to students here. And again, they were interested and they were able to identify weaknesses as well. And last tool that I want to talk about today is Prime Voice AI. So far I shared a tool for generating text, a tool for generating stories, presentations. This one is a text-to-speech tool that I'm planning to introduce next week to my students. And here my focus is on speaking. So what this can do is, let me, for example, copy a text from ChatGPT and then enter it here. So once I put it here, it basically generates an audio file. Now, when I share, did I share with sound? Annie, would you know?
You need to share before.
With sound. Okay, maybe we can, maybe individuals can play with this separately, participants, but basically once you click on the sound, it generates a really human-like sound. And this sound, this voice is emphatic. There is emotional input there. There is pausing. It's really good. It's very realistic. So I'm going to share this for learning about pronunciation, accuracy, and training of speech patterns. So these are the tools that I've introduced so far to students. My immediate questions that I've been thinking about are impact on our students' future jobs, obviously, and the skill sets, most importantly, mindsets, I think, that they will need to have to succeed. Impact on our understanding of learning and assessment. What is learning and how do we know that students are learning? And finally, impact on the role of literacy. I believe in the last 50 years, literacy became more like a generic skill, very closely linked to action, focus on workplace and kind of professional experiences. But perhaps that role can be redelegated to AI tools in the future. But what would that mean for our ability to write and read in the future? These are some of the things that are for me interesting to explore. So before I finished, very quickly, I show this prompt to my students sometimes, and just to show them that yes, writing prompts, as Savio will show you, is really, really important. But what's becoming even more important these days is collecting these prompts, making sure that these prompts are engineered, but also stored and cataloged and made accessible to public. So jobs like this are cropping up in many places. And one article that I would like to share with everyone, something that I find really, really insightful. It's called, So What If ChatGPT Wrote It? And this article offers multidisciplinary perspectives. It was published about a month and a half ago, so a bit old, I think, given the AI paces that we are experiencing right now, but still quite interesting. So that's all I wanted to share. Maybe I'll stop sharing and let Savio talk now. Thank you very much. And I'll share the file in the chat.
Yeah. Thank you, Svetlana. And before we give the time to Savio, we still have Eve. Yes.
Sorry about that. I jumped, I think, the queue.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Eve is also our colleagues from DI. She is a fashion management professional, a researcher, and at the same time a parent. So she will be bringing a very unique tools to us. It's AI using in fashion design. So let's have the time and the screen for Eve.
Okay, thank you, Annie, and thank you for
you.
kind arrangement with Winston, so that we have this opportunity to share with you all in Hong Kong as well as in US. So first of all, let me briefly introduce myself before the presentation. So I'm the assistant professor from DI, same like Annie and Svetlana, and I earned my PhD in fashion, textile marketing, and merchandising from ITC PolyU in 2009. And before I joined DI, I was the research fellows at different kind of institutions in Hong Kong, like Hong Kong DI, like Hong Kong PolyU, and CITA. There's the Clothing and Textile Council in Hong Kong. And in terms of my professional experience, I had served as global business controller and manager of the international renowned fashion company, H&M. As you may know, that H&M is the second largest fashion company in the world, followed by Zara. And I hold extensive industrial experience in buying, merchandising, marketing, and retailing before starting my academic journey at DI. And currently, I'm managing several competitive research projects in international trade of fashion and textile, location analysis, as well as econometrics modeling. And at this moment, I'm also comparing how we can use machine learning and AI to make our prediction more accurately. I use machine learning as well as the AI to compare with my traditional econometrics analysis to see how we can work with a more accurate projection of clothing and textile export in the world. So I will further discuss in the later time. And I have some research paper in location analysis of production in the Belt and Road Initiative, as well as I just mentioned, the econometrics modeling in the global textile and clothing industry. I have successfully collaborated with local and international fashion brand and apparel company in carrying out the research project, including H&M, G2000, and Swire company. And my research findings, which have generated an impact on the clothing and textile sector, are recognized both academia and industry. And my publication include book chapter, journal paper, conference paper, and I'm the author and editor of the book entitled Belt and Road Initiative Collaboration for Success, which is about the integration of econometrics techniques and artificial intelligence into the fashion and textile industry. And as you may see that, my research interests, including the marketing management, international trade in textile and clothing, and econometrics modeling, as well as AI now. And one of my paper, I can show you that one of my research paper is about sustainability in 2001. Yeah, this one. Estimating United States Asian clothing trade multiple regression compare with artificial network. So I'm using the AI machine learning to see how we can compare our traditional econometrics modeling with AI, and the result is using AI is more accurate than my econometrics panel data analysis. That is quite interesting point. So from there as a starting point in 2021. So now we extend our analysis to the other area of textile and clothing industry now. Okay. So now we can move to talk about and you say how we can use AI to help to enhance the productivities in fashion industry, fashion design industry. Okay. And let me share. Just a second. Let me share. Okay. 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 from here, you just show the software. It is called AIDA. They call it ADA. Actually, that is developed by PolyU, as well as the Royal College of Art. This is my previous university, same like Svetlana, actually. So this AI interactive design assistant, they are good for fashion design student as well as the fashion designer, which they wanted to get more inspiration, because you know that as a designer, sometimes they don't have any idea, right? So that is I think that is quite a good tool to generate more idea for the fashion designer. That is, I mean, this software is first to market a technology that empower fashion designer based on their creative inspiration to work with AI to create original design with just a very simple mechanism. Few click, and designer can choose or refine their option to develop a fashion collection, bringing very, I mean, flexibility and efficiency to conventional and intensive studio process. So I would like to show you the actually the demo. The demo. Let me share the audio as well. Anyhow, I can share the audio.
You have to set it up. You have to set it up beforehand if you want to share the audio.
If you want to share the audio, stop sharing and share
I stop
again.
And then sure.
Yeah, stop.
I try to. Okay, I try.
Share again by selecting the video together.
Okay, let me see. Oh yeah, you're right. Share the sound. Okay, very good. Okay. Thank you. Okay, let us see this demonstration.
ADA is the world's first designer-led AI system. To log in, type your username and password. After that, type your registered email address. You will then receive a one-time verification code from that email. Type the code to log in. After logging into the system, you can kickstart by selecting the mood board images from your library. Click Refetch to find the mood board layout you like. ADA enables you to generate new print based on the elements in the images you uploaded. Then, you can choose your preferred colors by picking colors from the color bar or key in the color code. Next step is to choose the sketches from your sketch library to complete your selections. Even though you click the Finish button, you can still edit your choices to make sure everything is perfect for design generation. After you press the Design button, a collection of 8 outfits will be generated in around 10 seconds. You can also change the mannequin to another style to complete the look. You may now refine the generated results. For example, you can change the sketch, the print, and the color of the top. You can scale the size of print to be placed on the top by dragging the percentage bar and get a preview of the result. ADA enables you to easily switch over to different prints to see the instant result. If you are not satisfied with some results and would like to look for more design options, you can first like your favorite designs and then click Redesign. ADA will then generate another 8 new designs for your selection. If you still don't feel right, you can adjust the ratio. That ADA retrieves sketches from different libraries to get different results. If you would like to add a new mannequin, click Library and then Mannequin to upload and register for a new one. Then, simply pin the key points on the models and click Preview to check whether the proportion of the garments is fine or not. When finished, you can find the uploaded mannequin on the design page.
Yeah, so from here, you can see that the key features of AIDA, they automatically generate the design for both single fashion items and the whole collection based on the designer creative inspiration. That is what exactly, and you say what we put in the library, they can generate some of the new idea for the fashion designer or fashion student, and they can generate out unlimited design proposal to enhance their creativities. Yeah. And to facilitate the signature design elements of particular fashion brand can be realized in this new design. If some of the like LV or Gucci, they have their own monogram, we would like to embed in the design. That is, you can go ahead to do it if you put it in the data set, and that is exactly which can benefit our industry. It can speed up time to market. And that is a quite user-friendly and user-friendly tool to help the particularly for the design. The fashion designer assistant to save their time to make all this mood board. Yeah. And for the benefits to industry, you can see that they provide a very fast and quick response for design brand and individual designer, right? And they can speed up the whole fashion design and the whole fashion supply chain. Yeah, actually, you know that the supply chain of fashion industry is quite complicated, from selecting a fact, a swatch, until and then go for the sample approval, material approval, all this detail, all this accessory, and then go for the bulk production, and then go for the packaging, shipping. There's quite a very complicated supply chain and related to so many parties. So for the particular design process, I trust that this AIDA can help a bit for the fashion designer. Yeah. And also this allow the fashion practitioner who do not have drawing or sketching skill or are not good at drawing skill, similar like me, that is good to create our own design in a simple and easy mode. Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, I see an opportunity for collaborative design.
Yeah.
You can have several designers working together to improve one in particular fashion or a collection, right?
Yeah. Yeah. One of the international fashion brand in women's wear, she used this AIDA tool to create 8 items, and then afterward they make it like a capsule collection and sell globally. Yeah. And
thank
maybe
you, Eve. Yes. How about we got more in depth when we talk into the
sure. Okay. Let's go ahead.
The panel discussion section, and we would like to have Savio to introduce his experience with using AI. Savio is a lifelong learner and a long-term GBX friend who help us with a lot of webinars, and he indeed is the pioneer to initiate this topic to us. So let's have Savio on air to share his experience and feelings and views on how this generative AI is impacting our lives and productivity. Savio?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Actually, this is my honor to have chance to be able to share with all of you today about my experience. Actually, I'm so happy to know that we have professionals and academic professionals here in the Zoom session. And for me, I'm an amateur. I'm a user, so I can give you all another perspective to see the whole thing. So maybe I share a little bit about the kind of things that I prepared. I will go through that very quickly, and then during the panel discussion talk, if maybe we can have some sparkles to discuss, so that we can go deeper in the later stage. Okay, so now let me share my PowerPoint. Yeah. So basically, is today I would like to talk mainly about the acquiring knowledge part, because right now, actually in the past 20-some years, I have been in the business for healthcare and skincare industry. I'm leading a group of affiliates in a different part of the world. So I have mainly about the sales and marketing, that kind of experience, and also the sales leadership, that area. And throughout my career, I find out cultural difference is a very significant part. I find out motivation is very important, and about the economy, political implication, all these kind of things bundled together. We are now in a volatile, ambiguous, that kind of situation. So that's why I'm now in Vancouver. So this is evening now. Okay, I'm in Vancouver to further my study in terms of the leadership. So during this period of time, I also need to do some kind of research in the cultural aspect and also the leadership part. So I can share with you about my experience in using ChatGPT. Mainly, I use the AI tool is ChatGPT. So basically, at first, I want to explain a little bit about AI. Mainly about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is based on a kind of core large language model. This is a kind of interaction, basically, with language. Of course, with ChatGPT and also a lot of other language model systems that our previous speakers already mentioned about that. All these are the language. I mean, dealing with each other, you have to prompt that. So this is the way, the system to use. And I'm now using ChatGPT 3.5 because I haven't subscribed to pay for the GPT-4. But so that one of the limitations is mainly on the language. Instead of having video, image, or things like that. And the data is only up to 2021. And so the result very depends on how would you give the instruction to the system. Basically, it works at the same situation as in DALL-E. DALL-E is the same, also from OpenAI, but it's on the image side. And also we have, throughout that process, we can ask, and then the system give us some feedback, and then we can go deep by drilling in more information in order to understand the topics more. So today, I want to share with you about my experience on different kind of applications on the language model system. So first of all, refine the language, because for me, because I am not from academic background, I left university for many decades, a few decades already. So it's quite difficult for me to get into the academic area and learn about some kind of topics which I just know bit by bit before, but now I need to go through a very systematic perspective. So I use ChatGPT to give me some broad idea, and then I can go down deep bit by bit. And also at the same time, because I'm also studying about culture, even politics, mass communication, organizational behavior, leadership, strategy, all these kind of things. Basically, these all are multidisciplinary. So it is quite difficult for you to ask a particular person who can provide you with different aspects of the expertise. So, for example, I asked the professor from political science, asked him about the leadership style. He gives me the political science perspective. I asked the professor from cultural communication, and then he can only give me the cultural perspective mainly. So from ChatGPT, I can play the game. I will show you later on how to get GPT become an expert from different kind of sectors, different kind of professions to give you a one-stop shop for all kinds of information. So at the same time, since I'm not good at reading academic journal, the kind of academic language to me is a Greek, basically. So I'm now using ChatGPT to help me summarize some kind of literature. I can ask ChatGPT to give me the reply in more professional way, or in a layman term, or from a cultural perspective, or from political science perspective, or from the leadership perspective. Well, I can tailor make the kind of information that I want to receive. And also it can, with ChatGPT, I can learn some kind of domain. This is some chart area in my brain. So never touch on that. I don't like music, to be honest. I had never touched on the music, arts, movie, these kind of things. But in terms of the cultural perspective, these are one of these. So I also rely on ChatGPT. I know some name of the movies and ask ChatGPT to give me some context on that, what kind of relationship with the social context at that time. So all these kind of things, we can use ChatGPT. So the second application would be about my core business. Actually, I have two businesses. One is anti-aging sales and marketing business, and another business is about change leadership, which basically all kinds of improvement will be changed, right? So so I will run from time to time. I will run some workshop, maybe to I have conducted some kind of workshop for the local, I mean Vancouver real estate agents. But I know nothing about the market situation here. I don't know at all about the kind of tone or taste the local real estate agents there. What would that be? I don't know. So I just asked ChatGPT to give me some idea about what kind of promotion campaign can it be, how does it fit into the local market, and also but I need to provide information to them, to the system. I set some link for the market research from the government about the real estate market, and get all these kind of things and feed it to the system, and our system give me the best pitch to them. So these are kind of things that would be quite useful. And another thing is we don't know what we don't know, right? So the most difficult part for us is, as a leader, maybe people don't dare to say some negative, I mean, don't dare to challenge you, to save face, or maybe the kind of culture is a clan culture. Everybody a good man, good guy, and nobody wants to get involved in the conflict. Now, I get ChatGPT to challenge me. I get the system to challenge the system feedback. I mean, I got the feedback, I got the answer from ChatGPT, and then I make another chat to ask ChatGPT to challenge that advice or that idea, and ask the system, ask ChatGPT to challenge in a different kind of professional perspective. So it helped me to see the whole thing from different kind of perspective. Yeah, and also about the prompt engineering, I know nothing about prompt engineering. Then I asked ChatGPT to become my prompt engineer. So I asked the system, hey, what kind of prompt would be the best? and in fact, I don't know how to put up the prompt properly to Midjourney or Notion AI or all different kind of AI tool. I asked the system to generate for me, right? I'm not making a website, but actually, if I can ask ChatGPT to give me the script to create the code for me. So yeah, on the other, at last, we have to be alert and cautious about the feedback, about the input of that. So I will talk about that later. So one last thing I want to share with you. This PowerPoint is also made by AI. I filled up the whole thing, the content, Of course, I adjust a little bit, but this kind of picture, it generates by the AI. This picture generated by AI. These points, more or less quite similar to what I really want to deliver. And then I say it's okay. But if I really want to detail, to refine it, I can do it. For example, this picture is not generated by AI because from at that point, the system gave me a very interesting and ugly, inappropriate. I mean, not ethically inappropriate, but it doesn't match my presentation. But why I show that, I don't know. I don't know why when I'm talking about prompt engineering, the system will give me that picture. I don't know. That one even more ridiculous. How does it link up with alerts and courses? So I keep this just in a way to show you don't rely completely to AI. Human being has a play and very important. Okay, so I pass the mic to Annie. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Savio. It's so interesting to know all these speakers are from a different background and has been investing a lot of their time to bring us a very informative introduction section. So